So first of all, before you go on, let's clarify that there isn't anything wrong with finding things to improve on.
No, not at all. There is something wrong with making up things to improve on.
Yeah.
Finding things that aren't there to improve on. Like, this is a terrible analogy, but like, you're the most chipper person ever. I think your tone could be a little better. Like I'm super happy on the phone. People love me. Okay, but you should be happier. Like, that's the best you could find that I could improve on. She was that kind of person.
I have a really good example. No? Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So towards the end, I was there for exactly 1 year. And coming up on that year mark, I got to the point where I had figured out the game. At least the technical side of it, I had figured out. I had taken enough calls. I had been in enough situations to where I knew really early on if it was going to be something that I could handle or not. So when somebody called and said, I have this problem, I almost know almost right away, if it's something that I'm going to be dealing with or if it's something that a more specialist group is going to be dealing with. So my handle time, so that is like your average, they take all of the amount of time that you're on the phone with one person is your handle time. So they take all of your calls throughout the day and they average them all up and yada, yada, yada. So my handle time was among the fastest. My average handle time was I don't know if I was the fastest, but I was like second or third.
Probably at some point you were fastest.
Probably. I was among the top 3 fastest people on the entire help desk. And so I get, so of course you get weekly, every call center's like this. You have metrics, things that they keep track of. They watch your activity under a microscope. Every little thing that you do is measured and evaluated.
Every little thing.
Everything. And so, anyway, and at this company, they tried to make it a little more personable. And they did some things right.
At first. It kind of started to go away. But at first.
And I guess it's a lot worse now from what I'm hearing, because I know people that still work there, but or worked there recently. But they did some things right at the time. Like they said they tried to not have like a standard, like you need to have your handle time this.
Right.
And so that kind of spoke to me a little bit. Like that was a good thing in my mind.
Because previous call centers would measure you on that.
Oh,
like
yes,
your
absolutely.
average handle time needs to be less than 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be on the phone with each person on average less than 5 minutes. This place didn't really do that.
Yeah.
They just kind of judged it based on, okay, you're spending an hour with each customer. That's probably we need to dial it back.
But also the good thing is, like, if they would listen to those calls and if it was shit that you needed to be doing, then it was fine.
Yeah, justified. Yeah.
So those things they did right, but everything else was just fucking bananas. But anyway, all right. So back to, I'm making this way longer than it needs to be.
Well, you're drunk.
That's it. Oh yeah, my face is gonna start turning red.
Mine already is, but that's just because I'm Irish and I had one sip of whiskey.
I'm Irish too. Some,
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not full-blooded Irish.
I'm not either. I'm mostly Dutch.
I don't remember right now.
Oh man. Okay. So I'm very fast on my calls at this point, because Joe Schmo calls. I have this problem. All right, and I knew what information to get to pass it on. Like all the common stuff happens all the time, so you get used to it. You just memorize some shit. Mm-hmm. And so, all right, thank you. Someone will call you or whatever. So I'm on and off the phone like all fucking day, just like racking up these calls. So I'm like top three fastest help desk persons. So the way they made this more personal is that your weekly report that you get, they have all your stats right there, and then they have like the average of the help desk, and like, okay, you did. Your supervisor emails you like an actual written email with your stats, and they tell you things in this email like I like how you did this, or you need to improve on this, or at this company they called them opportunities.
Oh God.
Like there was a missed opportunity here, like you didn't fuck up, it was you missed an opportunity.
Makes it feel so much better, but
Blech.
they judge you as if you
Oh
fucked
God,
up.
yeah.
They
the
judge you
judgment,
as if you fucked up. They just call it something nicer.
the judgment was so hard at this place.
Like it's a honking piece of shit, but they call it a rose.
Oh,
Still a
God.
honking piece of shit.
Polished turd.
Right. There you go. They polished a turd.
So this in this particular email of my stats for this particular week just stuck out in my mind. And I think I saved this email. I need to look for it because I need to show people because it's the dumbest thing. All right, so they'd actually write out an email, a thought out email, saying how you did, which okay, fine, that's good. That's better than just emailing you like a bunch of stats. Okay, fine.
Right.
So here's what mine said in a nutshell. So you are the top handle time. You're among the fastest among handle time of the whole help desk. So kudos for that. And then a couple lines down, it says, but your such and such is kind of lacking. So what I would suggest is improve your handle time. Wait. Wait a second. I'm the fastest. And you want me to improve my handle time to improve this other thing?
Do you know why?
Because she didn't realize, like, she didn't pay attention to what she was
Well,
writing?
yeah, it was a canned response.
Oh, yeah.
Like she probably had the majority of that email typed up as a template, and then
shit.
and then just plugged shit in.
Yeah, that makes total. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, that makes total sense. If that was how it was,
Because she didn't make a thought out email for all 20 of her reps each week. No, nope,
hell no.
nope. It was a canned response, and it was just a correlation in her head. Okay, so he didn't do as good on this. He needs to improve his handle time, and that was it. Guaranteed.
So that was the day, like I remember, that was the day that kind of
You started checking out.
pushed me over the edge. Like I need to get the fuck out of here, and because this place was supposed to be as Greg, because I had a discussion with Greg about this. You're Greg.
It was the promised land.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yep.
He's like, man, so you're back. Yeah, that was supposed to be the promised land, man. It's like, yeah, it fucking
and
sucked.
that's how it is. Like I started in an account creations department.
It's like a data entry.
Yeah, where like you put new accounts online and get some call lists.
The first level of quality control.
Yes.
It's a good one.
So that's where I started out, and that's where Mr. Ryan.
That's
trained
where
me.
I was for 8 years.
Yeah, and from like my first couple of weeks, I learned / was told that the hierarchy is like customer service, monitoring, ACNT, tech support, and then from tech support it branches off to either in-house IT
Or telecom.
or IT / telecom, like that.
Okay.
That area of the same company, or you go to this company that we went to. And the goal was more so to go to this company that we went to. It was the promised land. It was one of the only next steps that you could take from tech support because tech support's such a high-ranking department. And so Ryan and I, like, when we thought we had the opportunity, like we were chomping at the bit, biting at the chomp.
Oh, God.
As a coworker would say.
Who's always wrong, by the way.
Yeah, to go there because that was the promised land. And God, it was at first.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Like rose-colored glasses. Like I saw myself living out my days working for that
Bro.
place until one day I didn't.
Bro.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. Like, and I had a friend that worked there. Like, I had a friend that worked with me at the alarm company, and we became pretty good friends. Mm-hmm. And he left to go do this exact thing, but he left earlier on, and
when it was cooler.
When it was actually good,
going downhill, right?
And he advanced really quick. Like he like right now he's got a pimp job with that company,
and that's what we were promised because of him and others that we knew.
Yep.
Was that you get on here, stay for a year or two, and you move on quick. And that's, at that time, what it was designed to do. And we joined at a time when that was changing.
Yeah.
And then I went there, and I don't blame him for it, but it is his fault. I went there because of Ryan. Because, Ryan was saying, this place is fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the best ever. And I'm like, well, fuck, I'm applying. And so I applied, and it's a very long process to get hired. So I applied, and eventually I got hired. And then right around the same time, we were both like, I'm going to put this in the fuck it bucket. And
well, when you left, I was still kind of drinking the Kool-Aid.
A little bit. You thought you could make it work.
I had hope, we'll just say.
Yep. And I didn't. I was done and over with, and my previous company, the one I'm back with now, made me an offer I couldn't refuse. They wanted me back. And I said, yeah, you got it, man.
And as it turns out, when I left that company, the Hell company that we're talking about, I contacted my old boss at his current company, and they wanted me back, and I'm like, sold.
Yeah,
sold.
It
whatever.
Seems weird that Ryan and I don't work together because we have
on
and off for the past 5 or 6 years.
You can come work at the store with me. That'd be fun.
I don't think they can afford me. I'm now making more than I was at Hell Company. Mm. Which at the time, when I went to Hell Company to begin with, that was unobtainable. Like, I went there because they were offering me pay that I wasn't going to get in tech support. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't necessarily the cap, but I wasn't going to get it in a matter of time that mattered. Mm-hmm. And now, being Rep 3 and higher up and a senior rep and all that stuff, like, I've attained it, and so it is doable. But that was one of the things that got me to go. Was, oh, hey, here's some money. Mm-hmm. Well, fuck yeah, money.
Yeah, and for me, because they ask you, what do you want to get paid? And I said, this. And when they called me back with the offer, it was $2 higher than what I asked for. And I'm like,
cha-ching! Yeah. And, how can you say no?
Yeah, I mean,
and you wouldn't say no anyway because you applied because you wanted that job. But...
And I had a friend that was already there that was living the life. He had a badass job there. And he said, for me, it'd be totally attainable. And you only have to put up with this help desk crap for a while. And it's fun anyway. And no, it wasn't.
And had it stayed the way it was when he was there, 100%.
Yeah.
Ryan and I would be big fucking ballers.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're good at what we do. And we're, etc. We would have moved up very quickly.
We are some technical motherfuckers.
I could solve problems. It's weird.
I'm training to be a programmer now, and that's fucking... That's kicking my ass.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Me, I'm good at learning. That's my big thing. I'm good at solving problems because I'm good at learning what the problem is. And you learn to fix it on the way to learning what the problem is. I'm really good at learning, so I'm really good at fixing problems. So not being all braggadocious, I hate doing that, but Ryan and I were very good at what we did, and we would be way high up right now had the environment been what it was when your friend was there.
Mm-hmm. And so really, it was like a history kind of repeated itself. So I had a friend that, and don't get me wrong, I went to him because I was fed up with the alarm company and
the
where I was at,
quo
and I wanted something more, and I was advancing in age, and
you old.
Yeah. Let's just say I'm not yet 40.
Neither am I.
All right. But I just, man, I got to do something else. And so I contacted him. I hadn't talked to him in like a year and a half, and he was cool about everything. He's like, "Yeah, man, this would be a good fit for you. You'd be awesome. If you want, come up sometime. We'll have lunch up here. I'll vouch you in, and I'll show you around." And so I did that. I went up there,
And it was
to
fucking
see.
amazing.
Oh, dude, bro,
Amazing.
like, the promised land. I mean,
Yeah.
like this gigantic cafeteria with chefs and
Multiple buildings across hundreds of acres. And
TV, a wall of TVs
and
in the
like he was saying,
cafeteria.
hired chefs
Yeah.
that worked there every day, and their whole job was just to create a custom menu to serve.
So anybody who knows about anything will probably know what company we're talking
Right,
about.
but
at
we're
this
gonna do our
point.
best to not.
Yeah, implicate
not-
anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
But and don't get us wrong, and I want this to be a point that's made. Ryan and I aren't saying, "Oh, we would be much higher up and we're salty because bad things happened to us, and that's the only reason we didn't get it." I don't want people to think, "Oh, well, you guys could have attained that had you tried harder," and blah blah blah. That's
No.
true in a lot of cases,
Well.
but not in this one. And I'll give you an example. I'll start it, and Ryan will probably finish it. One of the key factors that led to Ryan finally going, "No, fuck this," was that he was written up for inquiring about changing departments.
Well, okay. I wasn't written up. I was threatened with a
Corrective
character, a character, like they're all about character there, and they have this list of stuff that you're supposed to
action. Like
to,
12 or so different values
Yeah.
that you should embody.
And I was threatened, and I'll cut this off, and I'll let you finish because I think you will say it well, and I'm drunk. And I wasn't actually written up.
Okay.
For that, I was threatened with having a mark against my character that may have gone on paper.
Which, as far as they roll with, it would have been his permanent record.
Yeah, and that's a career ender.
So any
there.
department that he would have tried to go to from then on would have actually seen this. Not like grade school where your permanent record's made up. And they want to say, well, it's going to go on your permanent record so that you don't be late to class again. This was a real thing, a file that would go with you from department to department. And they would see, so his future department would see, oh, well, it says here that Bitchatron 5000 said that you had a humility issue halfway through this year of you working. We don't want to hire somebody that has issues with humility.
Yep. So
We're
fuck
not
him.
gonna
No, we
take
don't
you.
want him. Yep.
And that was exactly it. He inquired. He said, hey, I've been here about a year, a little more. What's the next step for me to maybe move on to this other department that I think would be a good fit for me? And to her, that was a humility issue. One that got close to deserving to go on his permanent record as a mark against his character.
Yep. That's all true.
And that sort of thing is why we couldn't just work hard and make it. It was, we worked as hard as we were told to, did a very good job at our jobs, and then were threatened with marks against our character. Your character is who you are as a person. Mm-hmm. So she was going to put on paper that we were detrimental as people because we wanted to know what the next steps in our career were. And that was like, red flag, red flag.
So let me do a little bit of clarifying, and everything you said, absolute the truth. So all I'm doing is adding some more detail to it.
I like details.
All right. Okay, so at my year mark, I had a bunch of let's go back to the permanent record thing. I had a bunch of little marks, like okay, so he did this when he should have done this. He replied. Or he accepted a meeting invite and didn't go.
That's the one that I was going to say.
And didn't go.
An optional meeting.
And it wasn't even.
He accepted an optional meeting invite.
That was a mark
Didn't
against
go.
my character right there. It went on my permanent record.
And
It went on there.
am I crazy? This might be not true. Was it that you weren't there because you were off that day?
That is why I was not there.
So you
Yeah.
weren't there. You didn't go to a meeting that happened while you were not at work.
Okay, so
And
with
it was
that
a
one-
mark on your character because you accepted the request.
with that one. Okay,
Do you
still
see?
it's still okay. We're kind of making it sound a little worse than it really was, but
Disagree.
okay. All right, so it was a team meeting, and it was pretty pointless. I mean, if I'm being fair, it was a pretty pointless thing. There was very little good that came out of these things. They had them every month, I think. Did you ever go to one?
Yep.
Okay. Is it pointless?
Oh yeah.
All right. So like the director talks to you and you can ask him questions. And he was a cool guy, and it was fine. It was a relaxation. Is really what it was. You didn't do shit. But it was a team meeting. They sent out a meeting invite, and it happened to be on a day that I was off because I had a weird schedule. I worked 4/10s, and so I was off like Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I think was my weekend.
Sounds right.
So I worked 4 days a week. And so it was like on a Wednesday or something. So I get the meeting invite in my email, and this is fairly early on. Like I had been there a few months. I thought that it was that I had to go. I thought that I had to accept the meeting invite. So I went. It popped up on the screen. I fucking hit accept.
Which, let me jump in just real quick.
Okay.
As a new person, even a few months in, when you get this email that says, hey, there's a team meeting at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, you're only presented with two options, accept or decline.
Yeah.
And you're new enough to still know that this company cares about your character and these 12 core values.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're in your head and you're thinking, okay, if I click the decline button, I'm
that?
telling them I don't want to go to your team meeting.
Yeah.
I'm not a part of your team.
That's exactly what
I don't want to
went through my
go
head.
to your meeting. So
Yep.
in your mind, you only have the choice to accept. Because
Agreed.
obviously I'm going to accept this thing for your team meeting because I'm part of the team. Let's fucking do this thing.
Yeah, and thank you for jumping in there. That's very well said. That's exactly what I was feeling. Was like, well, I can't decline this. Like,
I
and I
would
didn't
look
even
terrible.
pay attention to the date. Like I didn't even and even let's say I did think of that. Let's say I did. Oh, that's my day off. I still don't want to hit that decline button.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because there's no option for decline, but tell me why.
Yeah.
It's-
yeah.
It's just decline. I ain't going, bitch.
truancy, bitch.
Fuck your team. You know what
So-
team stands for? Fuck you. That's what it stands for.
So I hit accept, and then it fell on my day off, and so I wasn't there. And so my supervisor, who was in my training class, felt that I was disrespecting like it was a respect issue,
Yep. That was
Like,
one of the
I
core
was-
values was respect.
disrespecting the presenter of the meeting. And even though people didn't go all the time, you still had to have people answering the phones. I
Right.
mean, they had two of them so everybody could go, but I mean, there were people that missed it. And I missed it. My days off oftentimes made me miss them. So they weren't like a super important
mandatory,
thing.
Yeah.
So the notion that I was disrespecting anyone by not showing up when I accepted an email meeting invite was just absolutely ludicrous to me, and that I was dinged heavily for it. It counted against me in a very large or in a very big way. So it was a strike against my character. So we talked about that before. That they're all about your character, and this podcast has turned into a Hell Company bitch fest.
A little bit, but that's okay.
I'm cool. I'm down
We
with
decided in the beginning we were talking about work stuff and
So,
previous work stuff. 2 more points to what Ryan was saying just then. So not only was that a mark against his character because he was disrespectful, he was deemed disrespectful by somebody that had been with the company and familiar with their values for the exact same amount of time as him. Somebody who, in my opinion, isn't qualified to determine whether or not you fit those values yet because she'd been there as long as you had. She had learned the same amount of time ago that those values were important. So that's number 1. And number 2, I can't imagine a world where you would get dinged with a respect issue for accepting and not showing up and not get dinged with a respect issue for straight up declining it.
Yeah.
I feel like you would have had the same talk. Like, oh, I noticed you declined this team meeting reminder. I feel like that's a respect issue, and we're going to have to address it. I'm literally not going to be here that day. We don't need your excuses. It's just...
And part of the conversation, of course, because we had to have a conversation about this in one-on-ones,
naturally,
was that my options were, instead of so he's right, I couldn't just decline and not go. That wasn't a choice. However, my choices were to accept and then come in on my day off and attend this meeting that didn't really matter, which I was not prepared to do.
Which, granted, he would have been paid for, but
Yeah,
he still wasn't prepared
sure.
to drive into work on his day off.
This company was really good about paying its employees. Don't get me wrong; they pay really well, and they pay you for your work. That is very true. My other option was to decline and then levy somebody to take notes for me. Now, you've been to those meetings.
There's nothing
Why
to
in
note.
the fuck would you need to take notes?
There's no note-taking necessary. But that raises another point for me. Mm-hmm. How in the Sam Hill does she know you didn't? How does she know you didn't ask someone to take notes?
Don't know.
Because then what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to rat that person out and say, yeah, I asked Billy Joel here to take notes, and he didn't. So why don't you write him up for a fucking respect issue and get off my dick?
Punk bitch, Billy Joel.
Punk ass bitch.
Not taking notes for me to
So
use this
she
meeting.
assumed that you didn't ask anybody to take notes.
She may have led with that. Like, did you levy someone to take notes for you? Well, no. All right. You're fucked. And understand.
No, but I did
that-
unironically use the word levy.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all about buzzwords.
Oh,
All about
Synergy.
buzzwords. Synergy. High level overview. Look at view. High level view.
Yep.
Of things. Mm-hmm. Fucking. I don't remember the rest, but it made me sick to my stomach.
Oh, it's so culty.
Dude, for real.
So culty.
When I explain my experiences to my other friends, they say that sounds like a cult. Oh, it was.
It absolutely was.
Absolutely, it was.
If you didn't fit into their doctrine, if you literally weren't fully indoctrinated, then you didn't fit in. You were literally fired on a regular basis, and I say you as in people. People were literally fired on a regular basis for not fitting in.
Yeah.
And
Some of it was good. Some of it was justified, though.
well, yeah, everybody gets, every company has a situation where they fire people for justified reasons. Mm-hmm. But
like, I mean, some of the fitting in firings were justified.
oh, okay,
Like,
yeah,
I don't remember a dude's name, but he sat over there by our other friend, Cam.
yep.
That dude was a fool. God damn. I went to another fucking meeting with him, and he embarrassed me just by talking. But anyway, they fired him for character reasons, and totally justified.
Which is fine, because he had a shit character.
Yeah.
And it's hard to make that distinct. It's hard for us to sit here and say, fuck them for judging us on our character, and then turn around and say, it's good that they fired him. He had a shit character.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get that it's hypocritical, but it's one of those situations that we can't properly explain fully without you having been there. And you haven't been there. You see what Splattercat's playing?
Yeah.
We used to play that shit all the time.
Yep.
Nobody gave a
Got
shit.
400 viewers right now.
Playing Darkest Dungeon, which was our shit. We gotta play that again, Mr. Ryan, sometime soon.
Agreed.
Stream it or not, I don't give a shit. I miss Darkest Dungeon. We were good.
We had that shit down. Yeah, we'll play it again.
Me and my strategery, and you and your
my clickiness.
Well, what's the word I was looking for though? Not precision.
I contributed very little to those sessions.
When you carried out orders very well.
Okay.
You followed my instructions very well, and this is the most important part. When I made a stupid decision, you called me on it.
Oh,
you were paying enough attention to go, oh, why would you do that?
No.
He's just going to do this thing.
Hang on a minute. I don't remember that, but I believe you.
Oh, okay, good.
I take your word for it.
Because that happened.
It was a long ass time ago.
Yeah.
We did that shit.
That happened a lot. I would be like, go ahead and cast bleed on that guy. And then you would go, that guy is incapable of bleeding. You're fucking right. So let's do this other thing.
Okay.
Or I would go, go ahead and cast this on this guy. And you would say, shouldn't we heal this dude? You're absolutely right. That dude is on death's door. Let's give him a bit of a heal. So my strategery and your calling me on my bullshit was great.
No, I was okay. So we need to finish the straw that broke the camel's back story. So back to where I was when I inquired about moving to a different department and
Yes.
was threatened with a mark against my character. Once again, this would have been like the third one. Like once she said that I had a mark on humility, I should have like called it. Like I gotta get the fuck out of here because that's a career ender there. Anyway, so my background, my military background is in security. So I was in the Air Force in security forces, and I was a tech sergeant, which is E6, in the Air Force security forces. So that's where my early
Security experience.
yeah. So my background was in security. So in this company, Hell Company, had its own security force, and it was a good one in my opinion. So okay, so now we've talked about values, like all this big list of values that we had to follow, and that like shape your character.
More than a dozen. Like
Yeah,
it was 12 or more. Like there were a lot of them.
They weren't playing around with this.
No fucking around here.
Okay, so towards the end of my career with Hell Company, I kind of realized that I wasn't going anywhere, and my supervisor had already told me, okay, you're going to need to, with all of the, like, remember I spoke about the long list of little things that I did wrong.
Little checks.
Little marks. Some of them character marks, others like the fucking, you accepted a meeting invite and didn't go. That was one of them. That was a big one. Anyway, so with those things in mind, my supervisor's telling me, you're going to need to spend at least another year here on the help desk. And
Maybe two.
yeah, and maybe two. At least one. And so 12 more months in that same job that I had been in for a year made me sick to my stomach. I hated it that much. Like I had never had attendance problems at work before, but I did at this job because sometimes I couldn't even bring myself to go because it was that bad. All right. So anyway, she tells me, you need to spend another year or more, maybe even 2, here on the IT help desk to improve your situation because you have all these marks against your character. And I'm like, okay, well, fuck me. So then I go back and I talk to some of my friends, and one of my friends, her significant other, her boyfriend had a background also in security, and he was going to be going for a security job with this company. And so I look on the company job site, and sure enough, there's open positions for security. I'm like, oh fuck, I can do that. You know, that my background's in security from when I was in the military, and why the fuck not? They're not going to care about all this character shit, right? And that's literally what I thought. Like, all of this, like, 12 values crap is not going to apply. I thought that exactly.
And I would have thought the same.
And so, like, at this point, I kind of abandoned the idea of working in IT for this company. Just because I knew I wasn't going to get there.
Because it sucked balls.
Yeah. So anyway, so a few days later, I asked to have a one-on-one with her because everything there goes through your supervisor. Everything and anything.
All of
it. It's a lot like the military, actually, in that regard. But anyway, so I asked to have a one-on-one. So she didn't know what I was going to talk about. She didn't know what this was about. And so I asked about the security job. I was like, hey, I'd be perfect for this. My military background is security. There's an opening, you know, and obviously this isn't working out for me. So maybe I need to get the fuck out of here. And so she kind of sits back and looks at me like, really? She didn't say that, but that was implied.
That looked like, really.
And so she starts talking about, like, how did you really think that was a good idea to ask me about that? She said something to that effect. And so I'm like, I've got like this confused look on my face because I don't know what's happening.
And you thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Like, you thought maybe she'll go for this.
Because this is a way better fit for me. I've done this kind of work before. And the value, the list of 12 values shouldn't apply, right? Okay. Nope. So she then explained that it was not a good idea to even bring this up. And this could be a humility issue, as in a lack of humility on my part.
Just for asking.
Just for asking. And I'm just... like, literally looking at her like this. What is happening? I'm thinking to myself. And so then I just shut down. I just shut down, let her say what she was going to say, and I was checked out at that point, and I said, that's it. I got to go. And that same day, I emailed my old boss and said, it's not working out for me here. Can I come back? I'll do anything you want.
And you did.
And I did, yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
My situation was pretty much exactly the same, except I was asked back because they were desperate, and it just happened to work out at that exact same time. They were like, how's things going there at Hell Company? And I said, let's be honest, it's not very good.
It sucks ass.
I'm really not having a good time. And they're like, well, we need some people. You want to, like, maybe come back? And I'm like, I'll have conditions.
Because you gotta get something,
right.
You know.
Because we had a meeting, and we went over some conditions, and they had some, and I had some, and we agreed. I was like, fuck all of you. I'm gone. And it was wonderful. Some of my biggest issues there, one of my biggest issues there was attendance.
Well, you had a bunch of things that happened.
Right. And that sounds like, oh, his didn't go to work. Well, that's not true. This company had a basically unlimited PTO policy.
Paid time off.
Yeah. And well, really, that was it. Like, there were more details, but honestly, it was basically an unlimited PTO system. And I didn't take advantage of that as in, like, oh, I just want this Wednesday off. I don't want to go into work today. That wasn't me. If I like my work, I'll be there every fucking day. That doesn't matter. My wife was pregnant with my second child and my first girl. And she had some issues a couple of times. And there were a couple of times she didn't have issues. That I wanted to be there for the appointment. Or I wanted to be there for a sonogram and I wanted to come into work later. So I needed to use PTO for the first half of the day. Stuff like that. And I thought that that was okay. Because they offered unlimited PTO. They said, be gone as much as you want for important shit. Just make sure you get your work done and you're a good employee. So I got my work done. I was a good employee. I did my very best. And I made sure to be there for my wife as much as possible. And got pulled into one-on-one meetings for it saying, hey, you're gone too much. And I'm like, well, how much is too much? Because you haven't put a limit on this. My wife is pregnant. And I had to try and appeal to my boss because his wife was also pregnant at the exact same time. And I had to say and appeal, like, you get to go to her appointments. I have unlimited PTO. I want to go to my wife's appointments. And he's like, well, you're missing too much work. Like, I don't get how you can judge that that's too much work. Obviously, it's for a justified reason on a policy that gives me unlimited time off.
And, so to clarify, you didn't have unlimited paid time off. Like you couldn't just take time off whenever and get paid. You had a limited number of actual paid time off, but there wasn't a set limit to like how much time, regular time off, whether it was paid or not. You had vacation hours that you would spend when you were gone,
and I used them to spend time with my family.
Well,
basically.
you even had like a family member that had an accident and needed external care.
Yep.
That you had to see to, and that you had ding for that.
I absolutely did, and it was one of those things where they set you up for failure isn't the right term.
Although not far off.
Right.
You can hang yourself.
Right. Like giving a 3-year-old a hammer and then yelling at it for hitting shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here, little tiny toddler baby thing. Here's a power tool. Why are you doing that with that thing?
Yeah.
If you give someone whose wife is pregnant unlimited time off, he's going to use it for her appointments.
Yep.
And so I would get...
Fuck me, right?
Yeah. Yep. And I would get dinged for that. And okay, so I would work the next couple of months and I would not miss a single day. And then I'd go to one of her appointments and because it had been a couple of months. And then he'd pull me in on a one-on-one. It's like, hey, I noticed you weren't here on Monday. It's like, yeah, I got that pre-approved. I went to a fucking appointment. And he's like,
ooh, shouldn't have done that.
I thought we talked previously about your attendance. You're right. We did 2 fucking months ago, homie.
Yeah. And
that wasn't the only issue, but that was one of the big ones for me. Like, that really showed me, like, oh, we care about family and we want you to have as much time off as you need to go do the thing, but if you actually take any of it, then you're probably a piece of shit and you shouldn't work here.
All right, so did you ever get briefed or trained on like the emergency procedures? Like,
yep.
You take your laptop. We were all issued laptops, and it was actually a pretty sweet setup. You had 3 big ass monitors at your desk, and a docking station, and you were issued a laptop that you take home. And
in case there was inclement weather, you could work at home.
You could work at home.
Yep.
You could. So you come in for the day, and you would just dock your laptop on the docking station and turn it on, and then you operated like you were using a desktop. It was very, very awesome. So when there was a tornado or whatever, we go down in the basement, take our laptops, and then you had like a software telephone that you could hook onto or hook into and use Wi-Fi to do all your work on your laptop there in the room.
Just because there's a tornado here doesn't mean people don't need support.
Yeah.
So go downstairs and get the fuck back to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm out of focus. Hello.
Wow, that's weird. You've been in focus this whole time because I've been staring at your face.
There we go. I just moved my head a little bit and it fixed it.
That'll do it.
So, so we got chastised one time when we did a drill because nobody took their laptops to perform the drill. So like, well, fuck you guys. You didn't take your laptops.
How are you gonna work
Yeah.
if there's a tornado
Yeah.
and you don't have your laptop?
So, all right. So so the next one. Here's what happened. I don't want to use the term because that'd give away a lot. I was a safety person. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like
A safety coordinator.
there you go.
Person.
That's a good word for it.
Like if there was a sort of an emergency, I was going to be one of the people saying, "Go this way
He
to shelter."
Yeah, he follow me. We go to the exit.
Yeah.
We get free.
And
Don't forget your laptops.
Yeah, and that was part of it too.
If you don't have your laptop, you stay here and burn, bitch.
That was that was part of it too. Like as part of my safety training later on, because like nobody brought their laptops. They mentioned to us that we needed to remind people to take their laptops for the drills or for emergencies. Anyway, okay.
Fucking great.
So, all right. So the next drill we had, you were gone by this time when this happened.
I think I remember you telling me about it though.
I probably did tell you about it.
'Cause yeah.
So we had a drill, and weather emergency, blah 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 blah. And so I and like all the people around me in my little sardine can of cubicles, I'm like, "Bring your laptops, motherfuckers!" You know, I didn't say it like that, but I yelled out, "Bring your laptops! Bring your laptops!" Nobody brought their laptops except me. So guess who got to take all the calls while everybody was hanging out in the hallway?
You, because you the dumb son of a bitch that brought your laptop.
You damn right, because I was the safety coordinator.
I'm going to set an example for these young men and women.
A lot of goddamn good at
By
getting
doing
money.
their fucking job.
So yeah, okay. So let me kind of paint the picture of what this was like for me. All right. So I get set up in there, and there's this room full of people not doing shit. And then I strap on my phone, my software phone. Room full of people. All right. So then I'm like, and the calls are piling up because nobody's taking the calls, right? Because Singapore is not online.
Yeah.
They're asleep.
And so it's just you.
It's just me, and everybody's listening to me in the room.
Oh my god, that's so stressful.
Everybody's looking at me.
Holy shit. Is he going to say the right thing? Is
Yeah.
he going to troubleshoot this shit correctly?
It was just great. I don't think I told you about this, did I?
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yeah. I did.
Oh, man, I would
I
have...
feel like this is the first time
I
I'm
would
talking
have
about
snapped my fucking headset in half and been like, I can't take any calls.
this. I should have. And
Oh, man.
I did get kudos from the supervisor, though.
Which
the Baroness.
turns out means shit.
Well, I mean, I deserved them.
Well, for sure. But, like, in general, to be a rewarding workplace, you should get recognized more than you get dinged, as we've been saying.
Mm-hmm.
You should be told that you're doing a good job more than you're saying you have a humility issue. So the fact that she gave you this one kudos for being the only dumb motherfucker taking calls during a tornado drill means jack shit.
Luckily, I took one call while I was there. And luckily, that person was very nice. And of course, most of the calls I took were cool people. I will say that. Like most of the customers that I dealt with were very cool, very nice. There was a few bad apples and those stick out in my mind. But this person during the tornado drill, I explained, I'm in the basement now on my little laptop talking to you right now, and she's like, oh, I had no idea. It's like, I know you're probably waiting for 5 minutes for somebody to answer the fucking phone, but here I am.
I'm sorry you got me.